face with a high rise taste.
Addicted to the vapors of paper. Embarking the darkest sins in the hearts of men. Every rapper that rap ain't celebrity.
You're tuned in to Two Cynics in a Pod with your hosts Gotham Green and Martin Arsenault, a weekly drop-in on a conversation between two friends of over 20 years.
Yo, what's good, man?
Yo, Mart, what's going on, brother? I'm just a little under the weather this week. What's up with you?
Oh, good. I just finished yoga and ready to knock this out for a second time. For everyone that does not know, we had some technical difficulties when we were recording on Wednesday, so we are having this conversation again. So hopefully it goes as well as the first time.
Yeah. This one where we recording a little bit later on in the week, but everything's still on point too. I think still audio Wednesday, and then video might be Thursday or Friday. I think we're gonna stagger the drops going forward. So just so you guys can get a little bit of the audio before you jump right into the video, and hope you guys like it that way. But what's going on in terms of this week, and updating some of the fans on some stuff, and talking about some of these things this week.
Yeah, so I guess speaking of updates, we could just jump into Mahmoud Khalil's update. So I did find out that he is a Palestinian. He is a third-generation Palestinian refugee. His parents actually fled during the original Nakba in the 40s. And he's basically grew up in refugee camps like his whole life, and his parents did too. So, and then, clearly he moved to the States and went to school. But he's still being held in Jena, Louisiana. He was allowed to speak to his attorneys and his families. His families transcribed a letter that they released to the press that is basically stating how he's a political prisoner, and he, is being held for freedom of speech, basically just exercising his right of freedom of speech. And it's pretty scary because it's happening to more people too now. There's another student, Doechii Kordai. Probably not saying her name right, but she's a Palestinian from the West Bank that was taken into ICE custody for allegedly overstaying her student visa. And then
there was a professor as well, right? So,
yeah, professor. Well, there's been more too since we had our conversation on Wednesday. But yeah, there was a Columbia doctoral student, citizen of India, Rajani, who fled to Canada because I guess her neighbors told her ICE came around looking for her. So the Department of Homeland Security said that she self-deported herself.
Yeah, crazy. Self-deported. No, that happens a lot.
They're like, yeah, we made her self-deport. I'm like, sure.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
I don't really. Yeah, in terms of that, I don't know what that means. They can make up whatever they want to make up. How can you get the real answer? Yeah, it's scary, dude. I appreciate the update, and I'm sure the people that are listening in also kind of appreciate the update. For those of us that maybe weren't aware of the most recent happenings. Yeah, man, it's scary, and I think we were touching a little bit last week or the week before on the possibility of removing birthright citizenship and things of that nature. And I mean, I don't know what. It's getting a lot more scary out there, and it's even if you maybe have been burying your head in the sand or have been, voluntarily avoiding paying too close of attention. I think now's the time to maybe start paying a little bit more attention to it. I know I will be. I think as I mentioned before, if you know me, my parents were immigrants, so I'm a child of immigrants, and it's starting to touch closer to home. As the days go by. So I'm gonna keep my eyes on the story and other stories like it. And I think Martin obviously has a deep care in these type of stories, and so I think we'll also be able to kind of update you guys as it unfolds on this podcast. So Martin, I appreciate you staying on top of that, just so that you can keep me updated as well, so I know what's going on.
Yeah, and speaking of birthright citizens, they did actually deport a birthright citizen, a 10-year-old girl from the Rio Grande Valley, Harlingen, Brownsville area. Her parents were undocumented, but the reason this is fucked up, is the reason she and her parents were deported is the doctors found a brain tumor, and the closest place to remove it was Houston. So they had been driving back and forth between Brownsville and Houston, and she had just got surgery in February, and they were driving back from Houston after one of her post treatments, and they were stopped by Border Patrol, asked for papers, and they deported her and her parents. And the parents have several other children who are birthright citizens who are still in the States. So now their parents are in Mexico and with the 10-year-old. But so it's already happening. And then I read today that the Trump administration is trying to revoke 250,000 Hispanic immigrants' citizenship status.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening, and it's happening rapidly. It's not conjecture. It's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. It's unfortunate, but like I said, we'll keep everybody updated on the specific Khalil case and others like it. Just because we care. It touches close to home, and we're about humanity, right, Mart? I think above all else, you and I both individually just care about people. So it matters to us.
Yeah,
And
and
hopefully it matters to you guys.
It's wild that they're just like going in under they're like a lot of trumped up charges. Like the Department of Homeland Security said Mahmoud was what did they say? I have the quote here. Led activities aligned to Hamas, a designated terrorist organization. And Rubio said he has serious adverse foreign policy consequences for the United States if he's allowed to remain a citizen. And it's just, this guy has zero ties to Hamas, is actually protesting with Jewish students. So it's just crazy. You can just label you a terrorist now if they don't like you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. You know what I mean? They'll just classify you how they want to classify you to be able to get you out of here as easy as possible. I think that's really what it comes down to.
All right. Well, more out of the depressing news. I mean, it's hard to avoid right now, right? It's like every day there's some new bullshit or like whatever.
That's correct. But before we keep going, though, I do want to set the record straight on one thing. Me, if you guys know me or you'll get to know me through this podcast or whatever, I do give my opinions. And that's all this is, right? We're just giving our opinion. So believe it, agree with it, don't agree with it, whatever. You're free to your opinion as well. But these are just our opinions. And one of my opinions that we spoke about recently on this podcast was that about Kendrick Lamar and Drake. And what I specifically said was, if Kendrick wants to be the king, now that he's at that top spot, according to everybody, you have to be able to stand there and take the shots, and you have to be active. You can't just go and become a recluse again and retreat. And I was saying that I don't think Kendrick is that type of guy. I think he is more apt to retreat. And of course, the day I believe we dropped the podcast last week, or even the day we recorded it, I can't remember which one, but immediately after I said what I said, Kendrick Lamar popped up on the Playboi Carti album, and I also mentioned that he was probably done dissing Drake, and I was also wrong about that. So before we even move forward, I just want to apologize to Kendrick Lamar. He absolutely did drop a killer verse, and seems like he's taking shots still and ready to have shots taken at him and defend himself. So sorry about that. Go listen to that song if you haven't heard it on the new Playboi Carti album.
Yeah, funny enough, and I mean, I'm not really a Playboi Carti fan, but the kids love him.
Yeah, Playboi Carti is their GOAT. Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Which is funny, and like, there's like drama surrounding this, and that will bring us to our next topic again. Is basically like Kanye produced that song, and then he went on a tirade after this whole. He put out a song called "Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine" with Puffy and his kid, and his ex-wife Kim Kardashian like owns the trademark right to the kids' names. Like they trademark their kids' names.
Yeah, so they trademark every one of their kids' names. If anybody knows anything about trademarking, you can only have one person has to sign off on the trademark, right? And so I guess they agreed that Kim Kardashian would be the signer for all these kids' trademark, and now he's not so happy. He's not so happy about that.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I wouldn't want my kid on a song with Puffy with the charges he's facing. And
well, no, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, look, dude, with Kanye, in terms of that, what I was saying, though, is that he's not too happy with the fact that she owns the trademark now because he wants to have her on this song. And apparently they had like an emergency mediation situation, and he did promise that he wouldn't release the song. And then sure enough, like a day or two later, what does he do? He goes and releases it on X, Twitter. And if you guys have been paying attention over like the last week and a half, he has been just going in on everybody and everything on Twitter, just taking shots at every person that disagreed with him, hasn't spoken up for him, that he doesn't like, whatever it may be. And I mean, he has been going hard at Kim Kardashian included. And yeah, he's shown a lot of love to Puff Daddy. But yeah, I agree with you, dude. I wouldn't want my kid on a song with somebody who's being charged with all the things that Puff Daddy's being charged with against women. If you ask me, it's a form of child abuse. That's what I really think it is.
I totally agree.
You know, like it's just
Yeah.
you can't do that. You can't put your child. She's a young child. Like I have my own feelings about Northwest and whether or not she should even be rapping. She doesn't need to be rapping. She's got everything in the world handed to her. Your mother's Kim Kardashian. It's not necessary. But even if she does want to be in the entertainment business or make music or whatever, I don't think that is the right thing to be doing. And Kim Kardashian laid it out clearly, like, yo, when she's 18, the name will go to her. She can do whatever she wants. But right now, since she's a preteen, if I'm not even mistaken, I don't even think she's a teenager. It's
No,
just
she's
not
an
something that you should be
adolescent.
doing.
She's like 10 years old or something.
Oh, okay, yeah, 10, 11, 12, preteen, you know what I mean? Like tweener or whatever they call it. Regardless, it doesn't matter, dude.
I mean, she
It's
just hits a double digit. She's like barely an adolescent.
right. So this should not be happening, especially alongside all the extra sauce that Kanye throws on life with the Nazi shit and the swastikas and the, the craziness that's coming out of there. And look, dude, it's I said this before. It's not funny. It's not cute. It's not entertainment. And in my opinion, this is like a psychosis. This is somebody who has had a break and needs a conservatorship. I believe Kanye West needs a conservatorship. And I was looking at his Twitter rant this week, and he was going for a while. I think he scrubbed most of it now. If you go to his X or Twitter page now, I think he's deleted most of it. But the internet never dies and the internet never forgets. So every one of those tweets has been preserved and is on a different site right now. But if you were looking at these tweets that he was placing, and you were looking at the comment section was hilarious because it's gross and it's also funny. But there were some really like poignant messages in the comments, and somebody actually wrote under the comments of one of his tweets, and it said, "Your mother would have been disgusted and disappointed," and I wholeheartedly agree with that. Nobody would condone this from their child, and I know he says I don't need to be condoned and all this because Ty Dolla $igns said he doesn't condone hate speech, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with saying that.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, there's everything wrong if you do condone it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I agree with that sentiment that, your mother would be disappointed and disgusted in you. And I mean, I don't know how you feel, Mart. I mean, I do know how you feel, but don't you agree that probably hit the nail right on the head with that comment?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been privy to this if you wouldn't have told me about it, what was going on that day. And so I went and I was looking at his Twitter for a few days, and it just was making my stomach turn about the stuff he was saying, like how he was like, Puff a woman beater, I'm a woman beater, Kendrick's a woman beater. You're
bragging about beating women. It's just something that I don't understand how that's even possible.
Like how are your children even allowed to be around you? Like that's like the reddest of red flags.
I mean, it's a great question, right? And I think we talked about this a little offline. If it's me, if I'm Kim Kardashian, I'm immediately having my lawyers get involved in trying to strip this guy of any of his custody, whatever's left. You want visitation? Cool. It's going to be supervised through the courts, all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There is a weird element to this, and somebody else said this also, because I mean, he was going at Jay-Z, and he called Jay-Z's twins the R word, and he always happens to go back sometimes to talking about people's shooters. And so somebody else made an interesting comment as well, where it was like, bro, like it looks like you want to die, but you're too scared to kill yourself. So you're asking for somebody to come do it to you. And it's like a weird thing where it's like, dude, why are you antagonizing that if you believe that that's real or whatever it is? But yeah, dude, you can't brag about beating women. It's not cute. It's not funny. It's not cool. It's fucking disgusting. I don't stand for that at all.
Yeah,
I don't think
gross.
you can't use it as like a point. You don't get points for that. real men, you get demerits for that. And as a matter of fact, like more than demerits, right? But uh yeah, he's just unhinged. It seems like it's really unhinged. And going after Pusha T, going after Ty Dolla Signs, he put a list out of people that betrayed him. Travis Scott, I mean the list goes on, Kim Kardashian, it just continues and continues. He's mad at Future now. He called Future washed. Why? Because they didn't put your verse out on the remix. Like, come on, man. Like, maybe your verse sucked. Did you ever think of that? Maybe it's not that they were hating on you as a person. Maybe your verse was just garbage, right? And so Future and Metro were like, nah, we don't need that. Because what do you know what I mean? So the days of Kanye being important in my mind are over. I think we have to starve the oxygen from this, clown show and stop giving it life. It's gross in my opinion, Mark. It's gross.
Yeah, I've never subscribed to any idea of him being genius anyways, and so this is just totally just gross and disgusting to me. The level
He's a
of
genius
what
troll.
I mean,
He's a genius troll.
maybe, or is he just
That's it.
like have influence and so he can like that? It's not even clever trolling. It's just like he's trying to shock people with the whole KKK Nazi stuff, which is insane. It
Yeah,
reminds me of
he's
that.
making.
It reminds me of that Dave Chappelle skit. The Black
It's
Klan
very
member.
reminiscent of that. Yeah, it's very reminiscent of that. Absolutely, yeah,
And
100%.
I'm just like, this guy's lost his mind, and people like to be like, well, this genius has made him insane. But I've never thought he was a musical genius. Like, he's been
No,
sued by a
we
ton
talked
of
about it.
people from stealing. I mean, recently he was sued by Donna Summers, Trax Records, which is an iconic house label in Chicago, Criminal
Yep.
Maine, and DJ Squeaky and DJ Kahlil, like influential artists.
Yeah, I mean,
And I don't know if you gotta. I get the art of sampling, but like you're not like flipping it, like Timberland does with samples and makes it totally unrecognizable from the source material. And I mean, like I feel like it's really hard for me to be like anyone is a genius producer. Like there's a really high bar for me. Like RZA, maybe Timberland.
no, yeah, we talked about this, right? Like we talked about this a
Madlib,
couple
Chad
episodes ago.
Hugo. No,
Yeah, correct.
we talked about it Wednesday, so I'm just like talking about it again.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying. I thought we talked about like when we went through the list, and I was like, I think that we were going through it. And I was like mentioning Just Blaze or whatever. Yeah, we don't, like that's cool. I'll always go back to if you want to talk about musical genius, come talk to me when you get to Quincy Jones status because that's
Yeah.
musical genius,
Absolutely.
right? Like, yo, bro, it's cool. And I'm a hip hop dude. I'm a rap dude. Music's been my life, my whole life. I'm a student of the game. Cool, man. You've made some dope records. That's cool. But like, you're not Quincy Jones. So I don't want to get into the whole musical genius and this and that. Genius is a word that people throw around way too lightly. Everybody's a fucking genius. You know what I mean? If your 2-year-old daughter can tie her shoes, you're gonna tell me she's a genius. So that's fine. Genius has lost a lot of its luster, if you ask me. If Kanye West is a musical genius, genius doesn't hold the same weight. The word doesn't hold the same weight that it used to when I was a kid. I don't believe he's a musical genius at all. I believe he's an asshole. I believe he needs help. The shit's not funny. It's not cute. And I don't even listen to the music anymore. Like you've gone that far, right, Mark? That like with him, I don't even listen to the music. I believe he put an album out called Bully. And go into the comments and tell me how I'm a hater because I don't even listen to the music, which is fine. I have zero interest in going and checking out a Kanye record. Do you go and run to that? Like, did you listen to that record?
No, I didn't listen to that record, and
They-
since you're mentioned, I mean, I've been off Kanye for quite a while. Pretty much since he stopped touching the MPC and started like being like a producer like Puffy or Dre, where they hire other producers, and the Playboy Cardi song with Kendrick is evidence of that because the kid that actually physically produced the song is this kid Scott Bridgeway, who's like I think Gen Z, young kid.
Yeah, I think so.
And
Yeah.
and it doesn't sound like a Kanye beat at all. It sounds like these newer era mustard kind of beats. And
Right.
it's like you can tell that he just Kanye like found this kid, signed off on the beat, slapped his
Right.
name on the credits and took half the publishing or something. So
Right. So think about that though, bro. Think about how crazy that is, right? Yo, you produced a beat for Playboy Cardi that has a Kendrick Lamar feature on it. Meanwhile, this week you are on Twitter berating Playboy Cardi and Kendrick Lamar, right? So like even that, like yo, bro, like your words don't match your actions, right? And so even that is like, are you just trolling? Like, bro, you just did a record with these guys, and I know you're mad that you don't have a rap verse on Playboy Cardi's album, so you say you were held off of it, but like you were on it. You know what I'm saying? And now you're going after the dude who put you on it. Now I don't agree with Cardi going to Kim Kardashian to try to get Northwest vocals and all that type of shit, and then immediately fucking Kanye jumps off the deep end, which he always does, and starts going after Iggy
well,
Azalea and that kid.
go more into depth about that. So what happened with Cardi and his kid?
So I mean, like Playboy Cardi and Kanye were cool, right? I mean, like he was on Vultures and all this type of shit, and I don't know, like the way let Kanye tell it, and the Jews run everything, and they told him that he had to be blackballed. But like, whatever. I don't know if that's true or not fucking true. I like Playboy Cardi is a god to these young kids. You are a dinosaur to these young kids. So maybe he just didn't want you on his album. It's all good. It's not the end of the world. But basically, Kanye started complaining that Playboy Cardi left him off the album, didn't have him on his album. But then he released like a message or some shit that apparently Playboy Cardi had messaged Kim Kardashian and was like, yo, I need to get Northwest vocals for this album. That's my niece, whatever the fuck. And so Kanye was like, yo, how the fuck you gonna keep me off the album, but then you're gonna hit my baby mama up for my daughter's vocals and then talk about her company? Like, what the fuck? Because Cardi's got a line about like, I buy hoes clothes, they like Skims, whatever the exact line is. I don't know. But talking about the Skims line. And so Kanye went off on that. And I don't agree with Cardi reaching out to get Northwest's vocals, but whatever. That's the music business, and she and her family want her to be in the music business. So that's the way it goes. But then Kanye starts tweeting about Iggy Azalea and talking about Onyx. Onyx is Iggy Azalea's son with Playboy Cardi. And he's like, yo, I need Onyx vocals. That's my nephew. Again, just trolling because Cardi did that shit. So he's like, I'm going to do that same shit to troll. And Iggy Azalea was like, yo, leave me out of this. Like, I don't have anything to do with this. I don't want nothing to do with this, which good for her. Like, fuck you bringing me into this for, dude. This is between you guys. Like, leave me the fuck alone. And my kid. But yeah, Kanye's nuts, dude. He goes off the deep end. So then he starts going crazy on that. Goes in on Iggy. Starts going in on Kendrick. Calls Drake the F word all day, but then seems to be siding with Drake in the beef with Kendrick. Now he's going against Lucian and UMG and talking about how Kendrick sounds like a rapist and da-da-da-da-da, and you did this play for Kendrick and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Just completely, like, just going off the deep end. And then all throughout that type of shit, he'll mix in how he beats women or swastika shit or the fact that he's about to start selling black KKK outfits. Just wild shit, dude. Wild fucking shit. Like, it's hard to keep up with Kanye because it's so all over the place, you know? So all over the place.
Yeah, the things with the kids is weird because he's like attacking other people's kids and then he's getting defensive about people talking about his kids. So it's just like super hypocritical. And it's
very much double standardy with Kanye. That's a fact.
Yeah, and he's deleted all of those tweets and he's unfollowed the 3 people he was following, one of which was Andrew Tate, if that kind of gives you an idea where he's at as a man.
Yeah, well, absolutely. That was actually another part of it too, was apparently like Kim Kardashian had to cut a visit with the kid with Northwest and Kanye because Andrew Tate and his brother were gonna end up we're like on their way to that meeting, I guess. And so she was like, nah, fuck that, and ended that visitation or whatever before, I guess, she could have Northwest around those type of dudes. Like, why, dude? Like, why? Why do you want your kid to be around this type of shit? What's your thought process where you think it's cool or you think it's normal? I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. Like,
so toxic.
it's just not. It's not good parenting. It's just bad parenting, bro.
It's
like
beyond bad parenting. It's beyond bad parenting.
And you know, like, there's so many things to pick apart. Like, what do you do, Mart? Like, I'm so anti the I beat women. I'm so anti the child abuse. I'm so anti the hate. Like, where do you even start? Like, yo, that's just I feel like he's just has like at home. He's got like a dartboard of hate, and he wakes up in the morning. He throws a fucking dart at it blindfold, and he's like, all right, here we go. Like, it's just everything that you could think of. He's trying to pick on, which makes me just. That's why I think you're a troll, dude.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
not to mention he does have 2 ongoing sexual assault cases. You know,
Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff going.
one of which was America Top Model contestant. Her name's Jennifer Ann, and they were on a LaRue video shoot, and this is in 2010. And the her attorneys are calling the act pornographic gagging, and he was basically shoving his fingers down her throat, yelling, "This is art. This is fucking art. I'm like Picasso." And I'm just like, how is sexual assault art? It's like that. If you've ever seen that movie Salo about Italian fascists after the war, it's like, it's really, yeah. If you've never seen Salo, buckle the fuck up. It's one of the most censored movies ever. It's really graphic. It's really horrible, but they're basically the same. They're like, we're the true anarchists, we're the true artists because we do whatever. They basically go and kidnap these kids in the countryside as Italy's being repatriated from the war, and they have this like villa that they go hide in, and they just like torture and these kids and like basically end up flaying them alive and stuff, and they're like, we're artists and we can do whatever we want and this is real freedom. And it's just like, it reminds me of that kind of thinking where it's like, oh, this is art. Like making someone else's life hell is art.
Yeah, number one, I'm never gonna watch that movie. I'm never gonna watch that movie. So, and you can tell me in the comments if you guys watch it how good it was. I'm never gonna watch that.
It's horrible. It's like one of the most disturbing movies of all time.
I'm out. I feel like I've seen Gummo. I don't need to see any more disturbing movies.
Oh, it's like, oh my god, Gummo pales in comparison to this movie.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm super out on it.
It's literally one of the most banned movies. Like it's hard to find even. It's like you'd probably have to go to like Pirate Bay or some site like that.
How old are you, Pirate Bay? What do you think? What year do you think we're in? Pirate
Hey, the founder of Pirate Bay just died, actually.
Pirate Bay.
Is that still a thing? Is Pirate Bay still a thing?
No, I don't think it's still. Absolutely not. I don't think it's
thing.
I don't think it's a fucking thing at all. I'm not going to check, but I don't think it's a thing.
I'm going to check right now.
God, remember those days of fucking Pirate Bay? Jesus Christ, dude. Those were a long time ago. We used to. Well,
it is still a thing.
Get out of here.
It is still a thing, and they have a thing saying we strongly recommend hiding your IP when torrenting. Use a VPN.
That's the feds. No, that's the feds, dude. Don't go to Pirate Bay. This is a public service announcement. Everybody out there, do not go to Pirate Bay. That is the feds. I'm telling you.
It's still active. I mean, it's operated out of some Scandinavian country that doesn't have like pirating laws.
Obviously.
So.
Yeah, of course not. That's why it's called the Pirate Bay. I understand. Like, no, but yes, there was with long history with Pirate Bay and sites like Pirate Bay back in the day. We don't do that thing anymore. But wow, I can't even. You threw me off with that Pirate Bay.
I'm pretty sure that's where I got Salo though.
Word Salo. Okay, yeah. So I'm never gonna watch Salo. But like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like this Kanye shit is just like enough already, man. Like it's every day it's something else. I'm tired of this. Like you're putting your kids through insane, unnecessary trauma. And
absolutely,
like,
man. Like you can't undo this trauma. Like bringing your children and other people's children into it. Like, any judge would have to be either paid out by him or out of their damn mind to like let this guy have custody of his children.
Yeah, like
without like you're saying like state supervised visiting rights at the very fucking least.
You know what I'm saying? And so
like dude needs to be committed and straitjacketed in a padded room.
I mean, yeah, maybe not that far yet, but like, yeah, I mean, look, dude, like it's trending that way, right? Like as fucked up as it sounds, like, you know what I'm saying? I won't say he needs to be straitjacketed yet, but you're a couple more unhinged moments away from that. You're not that. You're on the way to that, dude, if you keep continuing to act like this. But like the fucked up thing too is like he's gonna continue to act like this. Nothing's gonna change. Nothing's gonna happen, right? And those kids are gonna continue to get older, and eventually she will turn 18, and let's see what happens. Like I don't see him stopping this type of behavior. I don't see anybody being able to step in. People are asking, like the Charlemagnes and things like that. People are asking, like, yo, where are your friends? Like, do you not have a friend? Do you not have a family member that can like shut this down? I don't think so, man. Like I think, and that's why that one comment that I brought up earlier really touched me, because like, your mother would be fucking disgusted in you, dude. And I don't think there's anybody else um that can be around you, or that is around you, that if I said to you, yo, they're disgusted, it would matter to you. Right. And so I don't think that there's anything that could really change this. Like, what would change this behavior? What makes me think that he wants to change this behavior? It's going to continue like this.
Yeah, I mean, like before he deleted his tweets, he had some videos talking about people were showing up at his place asking him to go to the hospital or gassing him to go into a retreat, and it turns out it was like rehabilitation centers. So people
Yeah, yeah,
are
yeah.
there are people that are like his friends or probably close to him that are like, dude, you need help, and he's just not hearing it.
Right. So, if you're not hearing it, then what can you do? It's gonna. I don't know. Like. Is it gonna be like a tragic ending? Uh, Only time will tell here, right? Like, but there's only a few ways
How
that
could
this
it
this
not?
shit could
How
go.
could it not
Yeah,
be a tragic ending? How
that's what I'm
could
saying.
it
There's only a
not?
few ways, right? There's only a few ways this type of thing ends, right? As fucked up as that sounds, and I don't know, man. Like, there's like that whole live fast, die young mentality, or like rock star mentality and things like this. It's 2025, dude. Like, at this point, it's cool living rock stars that are living into their 80s and 90s. That shit's cool. That
Yeah.
27 Club, that type of shit is not cool anymore, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But I'm a lot older now, and I like to see the guys that when we were coming up, those guys that were also coming up, they're now settled into like that middle age, of their music career. Or like, I like that, dude. I want to see those guys in their 40s, 50s, 60s still continuing to fucking jam and have fun and going out there and having a blast and all that shit. And I mean, this is like the antithesis of that. You're going out in a blaze, and that's not even a blaze of glory. It's a blaze of fucking embarrassment, if you ask me.
Yeah, it is embarrassing. Like it's cringy.
Like, even if at some point you were a genius, like, look at where you are now, right? Like, I don't know. What else can I tell you? Like, look at where
Yeah,
you are now, dog.
yeah, and producers that I truly feel are genius like don't have this kind of behavior.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's like a cry for help. It's attention. Like, those guys that we talk about, they're not out there. Like, when does Timberland ever speak?
Yeah,
Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't hear that. Madlib made a career off of staying in the shadows.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So look, that's the thing, dude. The best producers are the ones that understand that it ain't about them. You know what I mean? Am I wrong? Like,
or that are just like more in love with the music than anything else, than the drama or the praise or
it's just
the
about the art.
yeah. It's literally they are just totally and fully dedicated about the art. Like, when do you ever hear about Chad Hugo from the Neptunes? Like, when do you ever hear about him saying anything?
No, that's the thing,
The
right?
dude
It's
is
an
just
art.
like 100% focused on making music.
Correct. And as a producer, you know that it's a collaborative effort, right? Like, even as a rapper, I could tell you, yo, I could just go and do a cappella raps. I don't need anybody else. And producers too. I mean, you guys can go and make beat tapes and beat, like instrumental albums and it be hits. But like, hip hop producers, rappers, like, we know that this is a collaborative effort. Like, this art is something that we're gonna do together. Like, I'm gonna do this with at least one other person. The producer's gonna have to fuck with the rapper. The rapper's gonna have to fuck with the producer. Like, we we don't like, the producer's not acting like the star, right? He understands that it's like that. And if the rapper's dope, he's gonna big up the producer or the DJ and make them feel like a 50-50 partner in this.
Yeah.
Um, and the guys the guys we love, that's how they play that position. The guys like Kanye, who try to jump out in front of everything, you see how it goes. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean,
So,
it's like Dr. Dre. Like, I don't believe he's a genius producer. I think he's a great producer. I think he's really smart, but he still plays the background in most everything.
yeah, I mean,
You
Dre is a
never
little
hear
bit more. Yeah,
You never hear drama from any of these big
Correct.
producers. Dilla, when he was around, Pete Rock, Just Blaze,
You know what
Primo,
I'm saying?
like they don't really
That's it.
get involved in it. Even when other people are having beef and talking shit about them, they stayed quiet.
Correct. Correct.
You
Look, dude,
know,
like even
kept it
Primo, like you
moving.
said, right? Yeah, like Primo, like you mentioned, right? Recently, in the recent years, he's been working with Royce the 5'9", doing the Prime like group. I mean, Prime is him and Royce, but even that, like Primo ain't all over the record screaming his name. Like Primo don't have like a tag. You know how these DJs, all these producers now they have their tag, Metro on the beat. You know what I mean? Mustard on the beat, ho. If young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. Whatever. Like every rapper DJ has, every producer has a tag. Primo don't have a tag. Prime is phenomenal. Royce is bigging up Preem the whole time, but he's not trying to be the star over Royce. Like, and this is DJ Premier. Like, 99% of rappers, if Premier approached them and said, yo, you want to do a group project, but my name's going to go first, they would say yes.
Yeah, it'd be like
But
Quincy
like,
Jones being like, "Yeah, I made Beat It." You know, I
you know what I'm saying?
produced I produced Thriller. You know, this is
Like
me. This is
wild.
my shit or something.
You know
And
what I'm saying?
he's like the most humble, kindest, big-hearted guy who is
Right.
literally just focused
And
on
then on the
music.
other side, right. And on the other side, you have this guy who's on Twitter talking about, I did this for him. I did this for him. I did this for him. I made his career this. Like, yo, he tweeted about Ty Dolla Signs. Ty Dolla Signs was like the 144th most streamed artist on Spotify. And then Vultures came out and he jumped to like top 5, right? Which is great. But like, yo, Ty Dolla Signs also helped you, bro. Like, Ty Dolla Signs has a much more appeal to the younger generation. I believe he bridged that gap for you to go to those kids. Like, he also helped you, right? And so, but here you are just throwing shade at him. Like, yo, Playboy Cardi helped you get to that younger generation. Here you are throwing shade at him, right? Like, Drake fucking helped you. And here you are constantly throwing shade at him, right? Like, so you know what I mean? I don't know, man. Like, answer me this. Who do you really think helped more rappers in this day and age? Kanye West or Drake? I'll be serious. And I look dead in the camera when I asked you that. And the answer is fucking Drake. Drake jumping on these kids' records has made these kids stars. Ask Migos, ask NBA Youngboy, ask them all, dude. Like, this guy and Kanye, you ain't doing that for people.
Yeah.
You're getting these kids, you're riding their wave, and then you're doing this type of shit when you're done with it or they're done with you, right? And so,
Yeah,
I don't know, man. You ain't
acting less mature than these guys too, and you're like, much older.
like he's got what Kanye's got to be. If he's not 50 yet, he's got to be approaching 50, right? I'm 42. I'll be 43 this year.
I think
Like,
he's still in his 40s, but
right?
I can look it
You
up.
can look it up. Well, yeah,
Um,
you can look it up. But like, I don't know, whatever it may be.
47.
Even if he's not, okay, fine, 47. But you're not acting 47, my boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so these guys ain't fucking with you. Okay, so move the fuck on. Like, you know what I mean? And if you're that big of a genius, you shouldn't need any of these guys. Just do the shit yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, 1,000%. Like your music should just speak for yourself and say
you
all
know what I mean?
this. And if you gotta have
Right.
beef, then put it into the records. You gotta tweet about crazy shit and calling people's kids retarded. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, it's wild, man. That's so sad, dude. Because those kids are 7 years old. I believe they're 7 years old, and
That's
those
just
like look,
ridiculous. That's a big deal in rap. Is like when you start talking shit about people's kids, like leave their kids out of it. They're children.
right, and then that brings up the hypocrisy, right? That you brought up earlier, right? Because you can say this about anybody's kids, but then they say something about Northwest, or they want to do music with Northwest, and now you go off the deep end. Look, Northwest wants to be in the entertainment industry, and seemingly so do both of her parents, right? Same type of thing. Blue Ivy, Jay-Z and Beyonce's kid, seemingly wants to be in the entertainment industry, and her parents seemingly are okay with that. I don't think the twins are on that same level. Jay-Z and Beyonce have twins, right? You don't see those twins. They're not out there. They ain't doing the Lion King. They ain't on records. They ain't getting Grammys. These are all things that Blue Ivy has done, right? Like, yo, how are you gonna do it? Like, what are we talking about, dude? I don't care if you're super mad at Jay-Z. I don't care if you're heartbroken, like you said, and da 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 da. How are you gonna call somebody else's 7-year-old children's retarded?
Yeah,
Come on, man.
it's crazy.
That's enough. That's enough. Like, get him the fuck out of here. That's enough to get him the fuck out of here. How many things, like, dude, what I don't understand too is like, why are we not taking this guy off this platform? What does this guy have to do to break other community standards, like rules or whatever? And I know, and everybody's gonna be like, well, Elon doesn't give a fuck. Elon doesn't give a fuck. Yo, that's fine. But there are, like, even if Elon doesn't give a fuck, like, how far does he have to go, Kanye? Like, till it's like, it's just enough is enough now. You have to get this guy off this fucking platform.
Well, it's not even Elon not giving a fuck. It aligns with the white nationalist, white power narrative, right? It aligns with Nazi
The
ideology.
KKK stuff.
It aligns with Nazi ideology, KKK stuff. So, I mean, Twitter is rampant with that. And then they shut down, he suspended Bill Burr's Twitter. So, and Bill Burr didn't even tweet anything. He just was trending for talking shit about billionaires. And Elon is just like, well, I'm going to suspend his Twitter. So that's what it takes, is to just disagree with Elon. So I guarantee you, if Kanye was talking shit about Elon, his Twitter would be shut down. But everything else is fair game, especially when you are espousing Nazi ideology. Like, clearly Elon's letting that ride across the board.
Yeah, it doesn't, that seems to be right up his alley. But I mean, again, like the women beater shit, the children stuff, like
that falls
all that
right
type
in
of
line with white power, man.
You know what I mean?
That falls right
I
in
guess,
line with Klan ideology, with like male dominance,
Beat our women.
patriarchy ideology. Like,
Fucking nuts, man.
it's safe to say that Kanye is a big reason why people like Doechii are like, straight men are red flags.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Like, that's not like, you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about that? Like, you want to talk about that?
Well, I mean, we
'Cause
don't
I
have
got-
to. I know we
No,
talked about it on the phone, but I think we felt a type of way about Doechii saying that, because it's not very fair to like straight men that are good people.
All right, look,
you
this is
know?
this might bother some of the younger generation. I don't think I've ever heard a Doechii song. I don't want to hear a fucking Doechii song. I don't really even know that much about Doechii. Here's the thing. You cannot say that all straight men, being a straight man is a red flag. That's not fair. That is insane. If I were to say to you, all gay women are a red flag, that's cool. You would accept that for me? Like, you can't say that. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's bad of everything, right? Like, I can't run around here being like, yo, all gay dudes are a red flag. Like, that's not cool. You didn't, like, I'm a believer, and I think we both are believers in, you don't choose what you are sexuality wise, right? You're born
Yeah.
you're born liking what you're gonna like. We just
Right.
that's our opinion. We believe that, right? Okay. So then that's not a fair statement to make, right? Like, I would ask Doechii, like, yo, you're black, right? You're black skin, right? Yes. Did you choose to be born that way? No, right? That's what you were assigned. That's the lottery that you won pre-birth, right? So can I say to you, yo, all black people are red flags? That's not fucking fair, right, Mart? Like, you can't say that. You know what I mean? So how can you come here and tell me, yo, all straight men are red flags? What?
Yeah, like
What?
how you're born is not indicative of what a red flag is. A red flag is basically behavior and behavioral patterns that are toxic and
You-
that can affect
right.
other people and affect yourself, that you can choose to change.
Right. You want to
Whereas
tell me,
I don't pick my
Yeah.
sexuality. I just like what I like, and so does everyone else, no matter what their sexuality, or, like you're saying, skin color or gender, even. And even gender can be fluid in some ways. So, but still, like, you can't, like, I think it's wrong to be like trans people are red flags. Like, I think that's messed up, because those people are born feeling like they are of the other sex. So I would argue
Correct.
also that is discriminatory. Like, I think
Yeah.
that is, it's a red
Yeah.
flag for someone to say something like that, because it just outlines their prejudice. And it's like, I think she was saying also, like, the only men she messes with are bisexual. But I mean, if I were to say, well, all bisexual men are red flags, like,
Right. That's a red flag. You can't make up your mind. That's a red flag.
Yeah,
You know what I
like
mean? Fuck
yeah.
you talking about? I like both. I made up my mind. Yo, if Doechii were to say, yo, and I would agree with this, yo, all straight dudes that act broy are a red flag. Yeah, salute.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with that. But like, nah, man, you cannot just large swath the entire fucking sect and be like, nah, you're all red flags. Like,
Or
get the fuck out of here.
all straight men that
Can't
call
do-
women bitches are red flags. Like, yeah, okay. That's a solid opinion to have. Like that could be a red
That's fine if
flag.
you want to be more
Yeah,
specific
you could
about it,
avoid
but it cannot
people
just
that
be all
speak toxically
what
about women.
anything.
Or
Right?
like
Can't just
men that beat women are red flags. Like I couldn't agree with you more.
That's the deepest red flag. Yeah,
I
that's a
like
fact.
could not agree with you more. But you can't like just generalizing all the straight men in the world as red flags. Like that is not
What?
fair.
What did she even say that on? Like you brought that up to me the other day. What'd she even say that on?
Let me look it up. I just have been
Like,
seeing so many people talk about
oh,
it.
just comment about it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah,
Got it. Got it. Got it.
and
Yeah,
on
yeah.
a lot of podcasts, and it's just like
Yeah, ultimately, it doesn't matter where she said it. She said it, but like, yeah, it's preposterous to me. Again, this is my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Like, that's preposterous to me. Like, you cannot just say that. Like, again, like I'm Indian. Like, yo, all Indian people are a red flag. Like, what? Why? I didn't choose this fucking life. This life chose me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. That's wild to me. Fucking crazy Doechii.
yeah. I mean, look, I actually am a fan of her music, and like the producer on our last record is from New Orleans, and he's a fantastic producer.
Well, listen, let Kanye
Oh,
tell
it
it.
was on
And
Hot Ones.
aha, word. All right. Well, then I'll give you a little bit of grace because you're eating some spicy wings or whatever the fuck. Maybe you had some shit going on. But if you ask Kanye, though, Kanye will tell you that Nicki Minaj was there. Cardi B took over for Nicki Minaj. Then Meg Thee Stallion took over for Cardi B. Then Doja Cat took over for Meg Thee Stallion. And then Doechii took over for Doja Cat. So if you ask Kanye, that's how that lineage went. That was one of his wild ass tweets that he tweeted in between talking about beating women and being a Nazi. Just so, in case you guys weren't paying attention, to keep you updated
I
on
would say
Kanye.
all Nazis are red flags.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. But see, you weren't born a Nazi. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
exactly. That's a
chose
choice
to,
you made, and it
right?
aligns with like certain behaviors that you could decide to
Right.
change and work
Right.
on
Now, if you
yourself. Like I would
right
say
now,
that all straight men that don't go to therapy, if she said all straight men that don't go to therapy are red flags. Okay, that makes a little more
right,
sense. Like, yeah, maybe not a lot
right,
of men need therapy that don't get it. And a lot of
right. Like,
men don't, like more women in America go to therapy than men. So yeah, like that could potentially, like that's a better argument than just like grouping like literally every type of man that is straight
right.
in
Like, it's a
as
red
one
flag.
group.
It's a red flag to say that shit's a red flag, right? How's that? You know what I mean? Hey, Doechii, you're a red flag for
I'd
saying
agree with
that
that.
shit's a.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a red flag if you say anybody who's not blonde haired and blue eyed is a red flag. They didn't choose that. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of crazy, dude. Speaking of red flags, do you want to talk about the next topic?
Is this a red flag or is
Is it
kind of
not a red flag? If
I
you're
don't
gonna
know.
if you're
I
gonna
don't
do
even
some
know what
dirty
we're
shit,
talking about.
if you're gonna do some
My
dirty
next
shit,
topic on my list is not much a red flag. It's more about music.
is it? What's
Yeah,
on your topic list?
my next topic was Freddie Gibbs' new song that he put out on YouTube as like a diss
Oh yeah,
track.
no, that's not
But
my bad. That's
you
not
wanna
her.
but we can get into it. I think you're talking about the track runner thing.
I sure was.
And this is like weeks old news now.
No, but it's still. But updates continue to happen here, though, dude. And I think even after we talk, some shit happened. Update happened.
Really? Oh, really?
But it's a red flag to do some dirty shit, and then cry crocodile tears about how you didn't really do that dirty shit.
And take
Meanwhile,
zero accountability. I
I'm
mean,
watching you on video do the dirty shit that you said that you didn't really do. And what we're talking about is exactly right. These high school track girls in Virginia, Alayla Everett and Kahlil Tucker, I believe, are their names. And you must have seen this video now. This video has been all over the place. This girl, they were in a 400-meter relay race, and which is the baton passing, in case you're not familiar. And a high school junior named Kahlil Tucker was on her way to passing a senior who was also in the race. And as she passed her, the girl reared back and hit the other girl with the baton on the head. That girl ended up with a concussion and possibly like a skull fracture. And the other girl couldn't compete in the race, couldn't continue the race. The other girl was immediately disqualified. And the girl who did the beating immediately went out and did like press conferences about how like it wasn't her fault, it was an accident, which is we all watched it. There's track runners who've been running track their whole life who say there's no way this was an accident. You would never do that unless it was intentional. So yeah, if you ask me, that's a red flag, brother.
Yeah, there's also no other record of this happening in the world.
Ever in life.
Like the way the way the attacker is describing the physics of the situation, like how it happened. She's not only not taking accountability, she's victim blaming the other girl, being like, well, she knocked into me and I tried to overcorrect, and the way it did it is it rolled up the back of her and then it just came down on her head. And if you watch the video, if you haven't seen it, go watch it because it's insane. It's everywhere. She literally like struck her. It looks malicious. There's no way that this could be an accident. I feel like if they interviewed a physicist in court, he'd be like, "There's no way that this could happen unless someone intended it to."
What's crazy, dude, is if you actually watch the video, I watched it again, right, for like the 110th time. It actually looks like after she hits her the first time, she almost goes. It looks like she almost is about to hit her again, and then she realizes and stops the second time. Like it's real quick, but if you watch it, it looks like that to me. Now maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it looked like to me, right? And so, yeah, then she comes out and says, "Those who know me know I would never do this." Da 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 da. Yo, it's evident, right? And why not like just be like, "I'm sorry that this happened," right? Like, yo, people would. Why not, right? Like, just say, yo, I don't know why this, wouldn't like just come out and say, I'm sorry that this happened. And, I'm sorry that this happened. And I apologize. It shouldn't have went down like that, whatever it may be. But, that's the way it went down and it should never happened like that. But no, right? Instead, what do? You actually, you actually go and in my opinion, you make it worse, right? Because if you do this thing and then instead of just apologizing, you make it worse by continuing to perpetuate oh my God, woe is me. I can't believe this is happening. Like I would never do something like that. Yo, it's crazy. And the update that I was mentioning to you though, Mart, was, believe it or not, the girl who got hit, she's actually been cleared and she has been invited to go to the national competition. So she's been cleared medically and now she's actually going to go and run. And meanwhile, Alayla Everett is being charged with assault. And again, if you ask me, she did it because she was mad, right? Because the girl was passing her. So in the spirit of competition or whatever, she got mad. And so she did that. So theoretically, if you ask me, and this was a different scenario, shouldn't that be aggravated assault? And I understand that the batons are lightweight and they're hollow, but you swing at somebody with enough force and you could do some real damage. So shouldn't that be aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? But she's just been charged with assault. And good luck to Kahlil Tucker, man. She's going to the Nationals. So I hope she fucking does well in the Nationals. She deserves it.
Yeah, good luck to her. Like, I believe that we live in like an age of American narcissism where everyone's like, you didn't see what you saw. It's like Elon with the Sig Heil. He's like, you didn't see me do that. But
Yeah,
I get it. I get it that it's like one source and it's like questionable because there weren't cameras there, but there was media crews from all over the world and multiple angles. And not only that, you did it twice.
Yeah, I have a tendency to believe what you just said. I would, I agree with your sentiment. And I think like the way I would say it is like, unfortunately, like it's not about who tells the real story or the truth. It's about whose voice is the loudest these days, right? And that's sad that that's where we are in the world and where we are in the country. But at the end of the day, it's who can say the words the loudest. That's going to pick up most of the room, right? Like they always talk to us. We always, like, when we do sound checks, right? Back in the day when we would do sound checks, somebody would be out in the back of the room, right? Can you hear it in the back of the room? Listen, the person who can reach the back of the room, the loudest voice is going to win the opinion contest, just because that's it. So it doesn't really matter. The truth doesn't really matter, unfortunately, these days, as much. I won't say always, but a lot of
Yeah, no
times. And
matter
so,
what, you're
unfortunately,
gonna like each side is gonna have people that rally behind it, just like a ton of people rallied and like just are brown nosers with Elon. There's like brown nosers with this girl.
correct. NAACP is behind this girl, and a whole bunch of different organizations are behind this girl as well. And
I don't think the
it's like, come on.
NAACP is necessarily behind them. I think they're like she doesn't deserve racial discrimination, which I believe in. Also, like she should like it's pretty messed up that she's getting like death threats and like people are saying racist slurs to her. I think that's messed up. But they did
I agree.
defend her. They did defend her as in, oh, we don't think she should be disqualified or charged. And I don't agree with that. Like I believe that she should be charged. It's evident that it was assault. Like
Right.
it in a court, a jury would have to be insane not to convict this person by what they see.
Yeah, I think you have to take a. I mean, look. At the end of the day, now we're talking about the legalities. But if you ask me, you have to take a plea deal here, right? Like you can't. There's no way you could get out of this. Like it's evident. It's clear as day, in my opinion. We'll wait to see what happens though. But shout out to Kayleen Tucker. She's going to nationals, and
Yeah,
I
good
hope
luck to her.
head's, solid. Yeah, good luck to her, man. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Not that I'm paying attention to high school track meets, but the story was interesting to me.
I knew nothing of high school track, and then I
Yeah.
saw this video and a bunch of people that claim to be professionals in track talking about it.
Yeah. It's a big story, man. It was a big story. It's sad. Sad. You don't ever want to see anybody get hurt like that.
Yeah, especially in track. When do people in track attack each other? It's just wild.
Yeah, no, track attack doesn't really happen.
Well, okay, so the last thing I think we're gonna talk about was Gibbs's new song. The
Yeah,
Big
shout out to
Two.
Freddie, man. Yeah, shout out to Freddie. I mean, I guess it's not that new anymore. It's been a couple weeks, right? But yeah, Freddie's been dropping music, and don't know if he's planning on dropping a project soon or what. It's been enjoyable to listen to these. He put out like a 2-pack, I guess you could call it. But yeah, the most recent song was the Big Two. He's definitely still baiting J. Cole. He wants to battle J. Cole. He wants smoke with J. Cole, which I still think would be fucking amazing for rap, for fans of rap. Um, he's definitely got some bars for ex-relationship partners, and it sounds like to me he's got something to say to Benny and JPEG Mafia and all that stuff that he was involved in a couple of years ago now. Freddie's got bars, man. I think you're hard pressed to find a rapper that's probably can go bar for bar with Gibbs. Probably not more than like a handful of rappers that are out now that can go bar for bar with Gibbs. And I like the song. Did you listen to the song?
I did, yeah.
What was your thoughts on the song?
I like the song. I mean,
I
I
know
don't
that-
really, I don't really know much about too much of the beef at all, but I like the song. I think Freddie's a great lyricist. I love SWV, Sisters with Voices, where the sample came from. So I do like the song. I mean, I'm a Freddie fan, and I'm biased because he's a friend. So any new song,
Yeah, I like
I
the
feel
sample.
like they just moved it forward with YouTube because of the sample probably, and he just was like trying to put out some content and.
Yeah, so I mean, like in 2025, you think Freddie Gibbs can't get a SWV sample clear?
Yeah, but I mean, it's gonna take months and months, and those things
I
don't.
think, yeah.
Those things don't take a week, and they could have recorded that song in a week, and he may have wanted it out. I mean, I've yet to talk to him since the song came out, but yeah, like those things can take years sometimes. It really all depends on who owns the rights to it,
Yeah,
So
I think that too. I think it also depends on what his plan is. I mean, I think if he's got a body of work coming out soon, then he doesn't necessarily need to go through the hassle of getting that on DSPs, right? The YouTube makes enough noise, and he put the other one recently out on DSP, so he's got at least that one on that he released on social media, I believe, like on Valentine's Day, and then a month later that shit hit the DSP. So perhaps this one will hit the DSPs in about a couple weeks as well. But we'll see. I mean, I think it depends on, yeah, sample clearances, of course, and then what his plan is. If he wants to release a project, then maybe he doesn't need to do that, or maybe he's going to continue to do Lucy's. But we're Freddie fans over here, man, and we're friends of Freddie, and the music's always been solid, the bars. But for me, as a rap fan, just as a hip hop fan, I think a J. Cole, Freddie Gibbs, back and forth, maybe like 2, 3 songs each, would be phenomenal to listen to. I would be excited about it. I'm sure you would be excited about it, Mart. And I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm a big Cole fan, and this might be biased, but I think Freddie might beat him.
Yeah, I'm a Cole fan too, but I definitely think Freddie is the better lyricist and funnier. He's just funny.
I also think Freddie would get more out of the like gangster bars. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Cole has been beat up recently a little bit. He's been on the ropes for talking tough about beating up like battling and beating rappers, and then because he stepped out of the whole Drake Kendrick thing, um, I think Gibbs would get more respect for those type of bars, and so I think it would be a dope battle. And then, I mean, I guess from that perspective, maybe Freddie himself would be like, well, that's a disadvantage then, right? Because then I don't want to do it, because if people are going to be like, oh, he's reeling from stepping out of the battle, then they're not going to give me my full credit. And I don't, again, we haven't talked to Freddie. I don't know if that's how he feels about it. But yeah, Cole, it's going to be tough to battle Freddie if you can't get off some of those, if you can't get the respect off some of those, like, I eat up rapper bars. You know what I mean? So, but I would love to hear it. But I'd love to hear that more than I would love to hear Freddie versus pretty much name your rapper here,
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, again, like, there's not very many that are on that level, like, and again, the guys that I would say are on that level or are consistent like that. I think he's pretty cool with, and he's not really like, I don't want to see that. Like, I don't want to see Jadakiss versus Freddie Gibbs.
Yeah,
You know,
seriously.
you know what I mean? But like Cole, Freddie, like, I would love to see Freddie versus Kendrick. You know what I mean? And like, we all came up together, and so then, but they're homies, so like, you're not going to see that. You know what I'm saying? And so Cole, I believe, and Freddie were on the freshman double XL freshman cover back in the day, 2010 maybe. They were on one of those covers together, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, it's the same class, right? And so I would love to see that. I would love to see, just for hip hop, like a Kendrick, like I said, a Kendrick versus Freddie battle. I would love to see a Drake versus Freddie battle. Drake kind of stole a lot of the aesthetic of Triple S, Freddie's album. And so I would love to see that shit for the good of hip hop. What do you think? What do you think about a Drake versus Freddie battle?
I mean, I don't think that Drake stands a chance. I don't think Freddie's interested
I mean,
or even cares, though.
but I don't know about that. I mean, I think Freddie would love to, beat up Drake on records.
I mean, maybe,
just for
but
a little bit. You know what I mean?
I don't even think he's tripping on the Triple S marketing.
Well, I don't think he's tripping on any of that. I don't think he's tripping on Cole shit either. But I'm just saying, for the good of music, for the fun of the sport, I would love to see it as a fan.
It's just, for me, Drake isn't like really. He's like a pop star. He's not like a lyricist. Like, I mean, he has.
I mean,
some
Drake
bars.
has bars.
He has some bars, but he's just like. I really agree with like kind of what Mos Def was saying about like it's pop music for shopping. It's not like smoking blunts with your homies music. Like
But some of it is.
nodding.
I'm gonna send
So
you
it's
some
just
stuff.
not-
I'm gonna send you some stuff. If I send you some stuff, will you really listen to it though, dude, and not just like skim through it?
Yeah,
Did the
sure.
Kim to it?
Yeah, sure. But still, it's just not like head nod boom bap stuff where I feel like J. Cole and Freddie Gibbs are more comparable. They're more parallel in style and
Sure.
sound.
I agree. I'll agree with
more
that.
it's more organic. It's not like polished pop
That's fine.
music and
That's fine.
auto tune, you know.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. But again, the same could be said about Kendrick and J. Cole, right? That their sound is more similar and more, but again, there's a guy at the top for a reason, and so you want to go at the guy at the top. So I mean, theoretically, if you're Freddie, and not that he's not, like you said, he doesn't care about that shit. I don't think he's thinking about it at all. But let's just hypothetically, for this sake of this, scenario, to have fun, let's just say he did care. one could argue that the top spot is either Kendrick or Drake right now. So I mean, fuck it. You know, Kendrick you consider a homie. Drake you don't really have much of a relationship with, as far as I know, or could tell from the internet. Um, it would be fun to hear him take shots at Drake and maybe them go back and forth a little bit, just for rap, dude, just for the sake of rap. I know you don't care for Drake. I know you're not a big Drake fan, but I'll send you some shit. You'll agree with me that he has bars, and then you'll be like, all right, it would be fun.
I mean, yeah, he's got bars. He has bars on Kendrick's project, Good Kid, Mad City, like that.
For
it's
sure.
a great verse.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Drake got bars, dude.
But he's just not. He's like more rap, not hip hop, if you know what I mean.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
You know, it's like he's like crossing a.
I don't agree, but
pop.
I don't agree with that, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think Drake is more of a student of hip hop than people give him credit for.
Maybe, but his music isn't really fully indicative of that. It's for like college girls.
No, I mean that's tough, dude. Like he makes a lot of music for college girls. That's correct, and those chicks spend a lot of money. But that's tough. He has a lot of stuff that's not made for college girls too, and I don't think people. Again, same type of thing. I think people don't give Drake enough credit for the shit that he really does do. That's hip hop, or that the shit that he's able to do from a hip hop perspective. I really do. And that's fine. You can. I mean, he's hugely successful. He's Taylor Swift of rap. So I understand why people would have that opinion on him, but I just disagree a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Like, I would agree with you. He's the Taylor Swift of rap, for sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I get it, right? Like, that's the thing. Taylor Swift doesn't necessarily maybe get the super duper love that she should get in country music, or that right? She's a country artist, right? At the end of the day.
No, she's definitely not country. I mean, she started
off as a country act,
but that's just like saying Drake started off as a rap act or a hip hop act, but now he's pop. It's the same thing with her, where someone like Kendrick hasn't really compromised his style.
And he's still, okay, so I got you.
You know, it's still very, even though his popularity has risen, like he hasn't compromised a lot of how his style is. Like, it's just because Kendrick's sound is popular doesn't mean that he compromised the style to get more popular. Whereas Drake and Taylor Swift crossed over.
No, I understand. What I meant was she started off as a country act and she crossed the pop threshold. So now she's no longer a country act. She's a pop star. But she was never anything other than a country act before she became a pop star. Right? It's not like she went country, it didn't work. She went rock and roll, it didn't work. She went singer-songwriter, it worked, and then she became this big star. So I'm saying the line for her was country, straight to pop stardom. The line for Drake was rap, straight to pop stardom. Yeah. So he's the Taylor Swift of rap. But so that's what I mean by she doesn't get maybe she doesn't get the respect she maybe deserves in country, because she still is making country sounding records that, because she's in the stratosphere she's in, always get considered pop music. Same with Drake, right? Drake's still rapping, but it's considered pop music because he's out of the stratosphere. I'm just saying, dude, like Drake is very hip hop. He's got that in him, but yes, he's crossed over the threshold to where you cannot just consider him a rapper anymore. He's got to be considered a pop star, global star, right? Like global star is even a better thing than pop star, right? Because it goes beyond music at that point.
Yeah, I mean, for both of them, like basically country and rap are the best-selling musics in the world. So there's a fine line between like pop and those two things.
That's correct.
Because I mean, basically, if you listen to any new country records these days, it's basically like rap country.
Oh, for sure. That's why Jelly Roll is so big.
A lot of people hadn't heard from Nelly from early 2000s, but they just haven't been checking out what he's doing in country music.
For sure.
He's basically a country star now. Like Nelly crossed over to country because it's like a fine line. It's a fine line with what the sound is. It's really just pop. And I
Yeah,
felt
the
like,
dude Jelly Roll is huge, right? He crossed over. He's on every hip hop record over like big hip hop records over the last couple of years. You find Jelly Roll all over the place, right?
well, I mean,
They
you're
cross
gonna
over.
like, yeah, but exactly because he's crossed over, but the line is really thin of the crossover because
Yeah,
the two have combined now, and that's basically country now.
yeah, that's what I'm
And
saying.
that,
Like I
or
think
pop, or rap, or like enter
correct.
your, it's one of the three or all three in
Yeah,
one.
they all fit. Yeah, they all
Yeah.
fit in a very neat. Like they all fit in a very neat package together, which is crazy if you think about it, because country and rap, two things that you never thought would be thought about together.
Yeah, it
You know
sucks.
what I mean? Crazy.
It's trash. It is
I mean, you're from the
trash.
South. I don't know. I'm from New York. I don't like it or understand it at all.
I
That's
mean,
just
for
me.
country, for me, like I draw the line at Highwaymen, which is like 80s country, and like really.
I don't know, sir. I do not know.
Well, like Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson are, right, and Chris Christopherson.
Of course. Is that Highwaymen?
Yeah, it's the Highwaymen. Yeah,
Those guys?
yeah, they were like a country super group.
They had a group together?
Yeah, called the Highwaymen. Yeah, look it up.
Get the
It's-
fuck out of
it's
here. I
great-
didn't know that.
Great music.
What? There
But
you go. You
that's
learn
like,
something new every day.
but that was like, that is kind of where I draw the line with country. Like after that age of country music, like it's pretty trash, and like a lot
Are you
of people
telling
don't
me
know.
Johnny
Like,
Cash and Willie Nelson had a group together?
yeah,
This is crazy. I'm gonna look this up immediately. I'm
yeah.
shocked.
There's, I'm forgetting the fourth.
Jesus Christ,
fourth
dude, that's
member.
phenomenal.
It's-
They hit the road, or they just put out music?
Oh shit, Waylon Jennings. Yeah, how could I forget Johnny
Wow, that's
Cash,
phenomenal.
Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, and Chris Christopherson. Yeah,
They hit the road and did
Highwaymen.
shows
How
together?
have you never?
I know, but I'm
you
just-
grew up in
I
the
don't know, I'm
80s. They
not-
were
I'm
like
not a
all
big-
over TV.
I'm not a big. I mean, I'm from New York, dude. Like, I'm not. We don't get country. We didn't get country that I remember up here like that. Like, we didn't get that shit. That's phenomenal. I'm gonna go listen to that shit though.
It's great music. It really is great music.
Man, that's awesome. Because that's different. 80s country was some different shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
And I mean, all those guys are like pretty left. Like Chris Christopherson, and I mean, they were all like super anti-Nazi, super anti-white supremacy. They're all big stoners. Like Chris Christopherson has all these tales about like flying his helicopter to Willie Nelson's ranch just to go smoke a joint with him and landing in his yard and stuff. And
Yeah, makes sense.
they're just like super
Yeah, that's dope.
woke dudes for their time. And
Yeah, I just never done.
I recently heard you can't call white people woke or whatever, but that's, yeah, they weren't
Yeah,
sleepwalking.
DEI is dead. I think you can't do that either.
They weren't sleepwalking. They knew what was up. They were for the working man and for anyone that was oppressed. And
They weren't sleepwalking.
yeah, but country has fell off since then.
Is that what people are saying now? That you know they don't say woke. You say you weren't sleepwalking.
I mean, there's different origins of woke, but like what I'm speaking of is like a French philosopher, revolutionary activist, Guy Debord, who has a book called Society of the Spectacle, which is basically like how Western society is kept in a sleepwalk. So like you're if you awaken
only
from
you
the
saying that,
sleepwalk,
or
you would
other
be
people saying-
woke, right? Like, but I think
I know, but
woke
are
is
other
like,
people saying this, or are only you saying this?
oh, this is not like a pop culture thing. No, I'm just saying this.
Oh, you made this up. All right, cool. I got you. 'Cause it makes,
Yeah,
it sounds,
they've
it makes
woken-
sense and it sounds.
They're not sleepwalking.
No, I'm saying it makes sense and it sounds good. So I'm thinking if that's like the new term that people are using because they don't
No,
want to get caught saying
hopefully
woke.
we'll popularize it. That's
Yeah, you know, there you go. Work on that. Start putting shirts on. Put shirts out on fucking Etsy or Shopify or whatever the fuck people put shirts out on.
You don't have to call
Nah,
them
that's
sheep anymore. You can just call them sleepwalkers.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. White Walkers like Game of Thrones. No,
Mesmerized
Sleepwalker.
by the daydream of the spectacle.
I don't know. You might be onto something, buddy.
um,
Jesus Christ, my man.
but yeah, man, I got nothing else, and I am beat. Like I've had a long day already, so I'm ready to wrap it up.
Word. Yeah, dude, I'm under the weather, so I'm fucking ready to wrap it up. But we love you guys, man. We got together because we had some technical difficulties earlier in the week, like we talked about, but we definitely needed to make sure we knock this podcast out for you guys, man. So, yeah, like I said, I think audio will be out on Wednesday and video will be out probably Thursday, Fridays. Check out the Instagram page if you haven't already. It's at 2 Cynics in a Pod. I'm at Gotham Green. He's at Mart _escape_hatch. Man, man, we love you guys. We're gonna keep bringing you guys content, and let us know in the comments and all if there's anything you guys want us to discuss. We're happy to talk about it offline and then decide whether we want to talk about it online. But my brother, I love you. I appreciate you for going to get the suit shit done for the wedding this week. That really meant a lot to me. And yeah, man. I'll talk to you next week, I guess.
All right, brother. I love you too, man. Peace.
Yo, my man, peace.
I'm high pace with a high rise taste.
Addicted to the vapors of paper. Embark in the darkest sins in the hearts of men. Every rapper that rap ain't celebrity.
I'm high pace with a high